there's so many layers where I feel like people's sense of perfectionism in particular is a huge obstacle to their ongoing success. People don't want to paint. Like in school, I was not a very good artist, but you have to fail in a sense. You have to do something poorly before you can do it well. I feel like people's sense of perfectionism is a huge obstacle to them.
Yeah, I mean, perfectionism nearly destroyed me. It's it's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole with no end because nothing's perfect. That means that you can play that game forever and never get out. It can become just incredibly toxic and poisonous. I struggled with it on so many different levels for years, and I mean, to this day, I'm still, struggling in many places. And all of the places where I've succeeded, it's because I've let go to some degree. I've some degree said, fuck it, let's just give this a shot.
Dude.
And it's so powerful to get to that point where you can. And the danger is, sorry, I want to go back a little bit. You mentioned like the fear of the failure and
Yeah.
making the mistakes and all of that. And it's so interesting that it's absolutely right. And then there's a danger to it. And the danger is in which outlook you take. In the forever powerful words of Pretty Woman, if they call you a whore long enough, you start to believe it. It's such a powerful line because it emphasizes the concept that repetition reinforces what you believe. And a lot of times when somebody tries something and they fail at it, they see repetition on something that they thought was right that ended up to be wrong. And that reinforces to them that they aren't capable, that they're incorrect. And that's very, very destructive. And the flip side of that is really excellently exhibited in a tech company, actually. So a tech company that's halfway to $1 billion already, so they have a huge cash reserve, and they're ready to go, and they know what they're basically trying to do. They just need to figure out how to do it. They will burn millions upon millions of dollars making mistakes. And when you ask them what happened, they'll say, we were just testing.
Yeah.
That wasn't a failure. We were looking for information. And they're correct.
Yep.
So it's really a viewpoint thing. And if you let yourself be reinforced by the experience in a way that says something about your value, where it's like, this thing went wrong, you failed. This thing went wrong, you failed. This thing went wrong, you failed. Over time, you start to believe it. But if instead you understand that you are testing, and each failure is a new piece of information, that's an entirely different structure to live by. It can just shoot you to the moon.
I know that I personally in business, I will get into anxiety because I'm doing needless speculation about, well, what are people going to buy? Well, I don't know. Let's think about it. Let's spend weeks. Well, I don't know. We don't know what people are going to buy. It's like, listen, unless you're doing something in your business that you can't change later, package it the way you think they want it and see. And if it didn't work, change it. Ask them. Like you're an entrepreneur, you have a product or service. Ask your customers, What do you guys think? I sell salamis. I make artisanal salamis. Like, do you want the spicy or the not spicy? Do you want this? Do you want that? And it's like, do you want a mix box? And they all go, I want a mix box. It's like, so sell them what they want. The packaging, like I can spend tons of time, like needless speculation, by the way, when all you have to do is take your best guess, make sure it's something you can come back from. Don't, I got a $10,000 budget. Okay, well, don't blow the whole budget. Just test it $500 and see what happens. You can recover from $500. If you blow your whole load at 10 grand, you're going to have some business problems. That's where it's like those small tests tell you what the marketplace wants. The needless like speculation, because we'd like it if it were perfect and we'd like it if we made the right decision every time. It's interesting to me because people will start to talk about regret. Like, what business stuff do you regret? And I'm like, not making enough mistakes, basically.